शनै शनै उपरमेद् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्. Slowly bring the mind under the control of the will, which is made steady with willpower. And don't think of anything else but the Atman. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, the 6th chapter. So, gradually, slowly, it has to be done gradually. And don't think of anything. And that's the reason why today's class, the third class in this series, will be stopping mental chatter. And it's very important not only in the meditative life, but in life in general. You must be able to have your mind under some degree of your control. Uh, this is the third class, as I mentioned. We will have 10 of this series, and then we'll have 1 or 2 sessions of purely Q and A. Then we'll take a slightly, you can say, advanced 10 classes, and then we'll see how things work out. And if there is interest and if people are following, we can continue this with a very advanced course on meditation. A good morning to you all. And as we have seen, the last class was developing willpower, making your body a battery of will. There are some people express doubt whether this thing is possible or no. Well, for instance, let's take it like this. Neurons, when they fire, you know, it's like these charged particles, they create a electrical field. And if you put an EEG, electroencephalograph, you will find alpha waves when you're sleepy, a little more, and then activity, and then you'll find theta waves, which is also you find in meditation. You also find then you have alpha waves where you have creative thoughts expressed, and then you have complete waking consciousness, which is beta waves. And beta waves itself has 3 levels, but what we are interested in is the highest form of, you can say, brain waves is the gamma rays from 40 to about 100 hertz. So these electricity in the body can be measured, and not only that, it tells us what state of our mind we are in just by looking at the graph. So this, and whatever we do, suppose we are talking, or thinking, or feeling, or willing, or working, anything, or even eating, it affects our body, and it affects how we transmit these waves outside. So that's why we had showed the last time that how we breathe, pull the stomach inside, push the stomach outside, and that is the, you can say, way of going down deep and configuring these particles, these currents which are flowing there within you. And that makes a stronger will in us. To come back to the subject matter of today, stopping mental chatter. Why is it important? Well, there's nothing more important than this. What everybody experiences it. So we don't want to go into the physiology, biology, or the psychology of it. Okay, but one thing the scriptures on yoga says, and it's this: we have an objective mind and a subjective mind. If the objective mind is more stronger than your subjective mind, that is, if your personality is weak, the objective mind keeps on chattering. It's not going to listen to you if you tell it to stop. It will go in spite of all your objections. When you have the subjective side of your mind very strong, your personality is very strong, the objective side of the mind becomes weak. There is less chatter. Now, in case there are times and there are cases where the objective side of the mind becomes so strong and the chatter, it dictates things to the subject. And these are the schizophrenia, the hallucinations, the delusions. People don't realize it's that objective side, the surface mind, that is dictating things. And the person thinks, yeah, this is real. They are real. It is also found that when we are engaged in a task or you're concentrated on something, what happens is you find the mental chatter stopping. Now, it's important for us to understand what is this mental chatter. There are in our minds, and there are various studies, even in universities that are made, there are thousands of thoughts flittering through your mind, thousands per hour. There are some who say more than 2,000. And some time ago, I had given thousands of thoughts, a talk on thousands of thoughts. Thousands of thoughts run through the mind. Why? Well, this is the default mode of the mind. The mind constantly chatters and constantly imagines. Now, if this is the case, how do you stop it? Well, first is, on the surface, you'll find the chatter. But as you go down deeper and deeper and deeper, you will feel that silence. Now, it's not a negative silence that people experience. When they experience, they don't feel comfortable. They need people to talk to. We are like that. We are frightened of that silence. But this type of silence which is within you, that silence is power. You will feel that power welling up within you. This is the way that you do. How do you trigger it? Well, there are 2 or 3 methods. You try to dive down deep within yourself and leave the chatter to itself. The chatter stops. And as you keep on diving deeper and deeper within you, you will feel that silence. Now, when you feel the silence, okay, what happens? You will feel that power. It's not only of the silence, it's the power of your own self. You will have a kind of a great delight in discovering a deeper aspect within you. So we go down deep within us. There is another way. Using the power of these thousands and thousands of thoughts itself to quell those mental chatters that are going on. So we use a mantra. A mantra is one mantra constantly repeated, but since there are thousands of thoughts with their powers, all these things, as it were, merges into that one mantra. So that one mantra gets the power of thousands of thoughts. So it becomes easy. That is the second way. The third way is those who are extremely cerebral, to use just the focus of the mind. There is then a method of meditation where, rather visualization, where you feel you are much larger than that objective chattering mind. I think this is clear. So first we will take method number one. How do we get into this silent part of our being where the power rises? See, we must be able to do it consciously, and it must be under control. Will the chattering stop forever? No, but you will get a grip over it after your meditative sessions or your practice sessions. And as you know how to avoid the chattering, you will find a lot of things opening up within you itself. So the first is, the grossest way of manipulating this chattering is to use your breath. Last time we had seen how the whole body can become a battery of will, which is essential, by pulling in and pushing out the belly button. Okay. And I had said that this is your original mouth, which you are fed through by your mother. So this is a little difficult for most people. So we start by using the nostrils as a locus for inhaling and exhaling. So what we need to do is inhale and exhale. But when we inhale, we need to really pull in all the air. And when we exhale, you don't need to completely deflate yourself, as it were. As you keep on doing this, we'll do 10. Inhalation and exhalation. We take a small pause and then we start 10 again. If you can do it 3 times or 4 times a day, morning or evening, whatever, you will see a change coming out. First is, you will feel a kind of a tingling in all these nerves, in all the body. There's nothing to do with kind of any disease or anything like that, nothing. It's just your nerves and the fibers are getting energized by this breath that is pouring down within you. And as you are focusing on the breath, remember, follow that breath as it goes in with your mind. You, as it were, are entering the body and the mind with your mind. Okay. Think, can we start? Sit down straight, as it were, and keep your mind out here, and as simple as that, ten. You take a pause. The first time you inhale deeply, you can exhale through the mouth and the nostrils, of course, a little. But remember, the second time we do it, we close our mouth. So we just inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Don't bother about the diaphragm and this. Just keep your attention here and, as it were, follow the breath as it goes in and as it comes out. Okay? You do it 10 more times. This is the way. The third time we inhale and exhale, do it gently. As it were, the paths down to the nervous system and all around those nadis, as they say, are being opened up. And the third time you do gently, you don't need to use so much of force. It trickles down in. Now, you might not find the benefit in one sitting or one go. And I expect the viewers to practice a little of what they learn. So, to really get a benefit of this, because after developing that willpower, making the body into a kind of a battery, your body is already ready to receive that great vital force which is pouring inside. And as it pours in, like I said, you will find nerve currents becoming strong, tingling. There's a tingling all over your body. You will feel also light. That's important. You won't feel heavy, like you sit down and feelings are heavy. Your drowsiness, that also will go. So we find in some Pacific islands divers who do a free dive, a free fall dive without oxygen mask. What they do is they keep on gulping down air for 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then they hold their breath and then they dive, and they have a kind of a makeshift, you know, gun, spear gun, and they use that to spear down fish, and they can stay down there for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes without any. So what they say, they feel a kind of a lift, a kind of a trance-like condition. People talk about trances as this is the way you can get into. It's not a trance, and you don't get unconscious, so you don't act crazy. But a part of you, as it were, is lifted up through this kind of breathing. And this is where you find these Pacific islanders, they say, that they feel the silence. It's not the silence only of the depths, but their own silence. They feel that silence, and they, as it were, they are moving around like a fish in water in the deep sea. It's an extremely elevated feeling. So you can do it even without getting into water. You can breathe and you can go down deep. And that silence is really powerful. This is you're setting the stage for meditation. You have developed a willpower, you have become silent inside. Then we will take the next the next class of meditation. The fourth class will be a repetition of the mantra. But we'll do a small, you can say, exercise now, which will quell the thousands of thoughts which are running in your mind. Now, when these thoughts are running in your mind, they all have behind them some power that's impelling them. The idea is it's not trying to distract our attention from those chatter and then do something else. No, using that power of the thousands of thoughts to make that one mantra powerful. So it is, you know, drawing in the power of all these thousands of thoughts and putting them into one thought. So many of you have received initiation or anything, but use a simple mantra. If those who are not initiated with the mantra or don't know any mantra, for now, let us use Om Namah Shivaya. This is a mantra. Now, when we are chanting Om Namah Shivaya, okay, first we'll do it semi audibly. And that is why uh, that sound will go and you can say go through your bone structures and into your brain. There's an internal sound, internal vibration. That semi audible, this that which comes out to the air also will go through the ears. Okay, so this is one way of stopping the chatter. The next stage of japa is silent. You do it inaudibly, but you will be able to hear the words articulated in your own mind. Okay? So we'll do it 10 times or 15 times just to kind of give you a grip on the semi audible repetition of the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 This is the semi audible. We'll do 10 inaudible to everyone else, of course, not to it, but it will be audible only to you. It will be a purely mental repetition. Don't move your tongue. Don't fix the tongue on the palate also. Just leave your tongue just loose. This is the semi audible and the inaudible repetition of the mantra. It's a very, very powerful method, which we will see in the future classes how to do it properly. But this is another way of stopping mental chatter. The third is, like I said, those who are cerebral, what they will do is first we close our eyes. We'll see the screen of the mind. Observe all these thoughts teeming on those minds. Their thoughts, their feelings. You see all that clutter? Keep watching that screen. Now, as it were, mentally push that screen far away from you. Keep on pushing it. 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, five, 6, 7. Keep on pushing it. 8, 9, 10. Now watch that screen from 10 feet distance. It appears smaller and you are appearing larger in your mental, you can say, world. Keep on watching that screen of the mind from a distance. And feel yourself much bigger, mentally much larger than the screen of the mind, which is just like a thumbnail, a microscopic, you can say, piece of dirt also. Open your eyes, please. This is the third way. You're watching the screen of a mind here, which, uh, from the physical standpoint, we watch the back of our eyelids. Okay? And there's the kind of slight filtering of, you can say, light inside. You feel that, uh, you can say, faded yellowish light out there. That same screen has to be pushed slowly further and further and further away. You have to make yourself and the screen of the mind separate, distant from you. And the more you make it distant from you, separation, and then observation, that mind which was so large and those thoughts which were so large in your estimation, which are troubling you, has now become smaller. So the Swami Vivekananda also says, what do you do? Observe the mind, make the subject stronger. This is the best way to make the subject stronger. The subject feels that it is much larger, more powerful, more mighty than this small screen of the mind which has been troubling me, which has been chattering all the time. So you push it away, as it were, mentally. This also gives us the idea that I am separate from the mind, the observer and the observed. Make the observed small. And as we keep on doing these exercises, those who want to do all the three could do all the three. Some who want to do two of them can do the breathing and the mantra. This also can be done. Use according to your mood, according to the time of the day, what suits you really. If you feel you could do those deep breathing, do it. So you have 10 or 12 inhalation and exhalation deeply. Take a pause. Again, 10 or 12 inhalation and exhalation deeply. Take a pause. And then third time. Don't do it more than 3 times for now. As you test your strength, you can increase it by one. Do everything gradually. The mantra, use any mantra that you like, whichever deity you like, use that name and keep on repeating it. And slowly you will feel that that mantra has taken over all the chatter. And like the third is, that chattering mind is pushed at a distance. See, when two boxers are fighting close up, you cannot fight. And then what the referee does is separates them. And then the guys can batter each other. So when you are too close, you're unable to fight that. When you push that mind a little far, separate yourself from it, you will be able to grasp it. So these are the three types of methods to stop mental chatter. It's not going to go away overnight. you will have slowly, after practicing, a great degree of control over the 2000 thoughts per hour that you have waking up. Even in sleep, your mind is jumping up and down. It's going to get reduced and reduced. The more mental chatter reduces, the more stronger you become. There are some people who, while walking on the street, they keep on talking to themselves. They are even oblivious. They have gone into that mental chattering world, and the external world has become off. They have completely lost control. And then, like I said, if the objective mind becomes too strong, it will dictate things to you. That is schizophrenia, delusions, and hallucinations, and all these things happen to you. So we need to have a control over this chattering of the mind. We'll stop here for now, and we'll take a few questions if there are. And the next class, or fourth class, will be on repetition of the mantra, because I want to tie each class with the other. So we have done the repetition of the mantra, how to really repeat the mantra, and how to really derive benefit from the repetition. Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Or then
I asked.
on the Zoom you can unmute them.
I did. I did ask to mute. Okay, just 1 second. Yeah, these things are now instantaneous.
Or you can just type in your
Okay.
question.
Namaskar, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. My name is Soma. I'm in the UK. I'm also a child of Pateshananda. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for explaining so clearly and so beautifully. At the top of the class, you made an interesting distinction between the subjective and objective, and you
Yes.
talked about how the strong personality experiences themselves subjectively. That's interesting because in the West, people tend to think of a strong personality as being somebody who's quite noisy. And
Yes.
it would be very interesting if you might elaborate on the experience of the strong personality, of that subjectivity. What does the strong personality experience? How do they experience this silence?
First is uh, these people with strong personalities are perfectly integrated. A lot of people, they are torn between the duality, the opposites. Should I do not? They haven't resolved their conflicts, they haven't resolved their doubts, they haven't resolved their desires, they haven't resolved this kind of constant tug of war that's going around between them. If the person can resolve doubts, difficulties, desires, aspirations, all these things, there's a kind of integration that comes in. And it is this integration that makes a strong personality. Now, the strong personality is that which, as we know, is does not quake before difficulties. That strong personality is always out to help others, always unselfish. That strong personality is always moral. We become immoral only when we are weak. So, Swami Vivekananda's principal message was strength is life. He's saying you've got to be strong. Then the strong personalities, you can say, idea of oneself is that it has that pure consciousness at its back. It is that Atman, or that consciousness. I don't want to use the term Atman because to many people it sounds. So it is that spirit, it is a child of God. And this is what brings that tremendous strength and also hope, which is translated by that strong personality to others. Okay, we 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 want to solve our problems, and there are some who are good at it, and there are some who are bad at it. When you find that a person who has solved a problem, that person has resolved all kind of, you can say, problems. He is a problem solver, resolve all the duality, likes and dislikes, good and bad, and all these things. That person has transcended all these small things, and that has integrated that personality. Okay, okay,
Thank you.
yeah. So we have,
There's another question. Just ask on you there.
Pranam Maharaj, you can hear me?
yeah,
Ah, okay. There you are. Um, I wanted the clarification on the method one that you said to do 3 to 4 times. Is it a repetition with pauses of 3 to 4 times at one sitting, or are you recommending 3 to 4 times during the day to practice?
no, it is 3 to 4 times in one sitting.
Okay.
It is, you do it 10, you do it 10, and then you take a pause, then you took 10, do 10, and then take a pause, and then take a 10, and take a pause. You feel, if you feel your body coming alive, that's a good thing. Okay, and if you're not feeling it, you will, as you keep on doing that exercises for that willpower, and then the exercises for this. Uh, as we proceed, we will find in that advanced course that we haven't completely finalized it, but we want to. Let's see, let's hope. There, instead of using your attention here on the nostril, near the nostrils, you use it the old way on the navel button. You pull in and you push out. You pull in and you push out. So you will feel that kind of inhalation and exhalation in a normal fashion. Okay. So that is Bindu. So that is the method. So for now, 3 times, that will do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Next question.
Hmm.
Can you?
Pranam Maharaj,
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First one is, how do we control the multitasking mind or multitasking tendency, which is more like a fidgeting mind? In the meditation as well as while doing the work or the task in our normal life, mind tends to reach out for the pen or something else which is not a priority at that time, and always tells us to do something like go drink a water or
Yeah.
somehow skip the task in front of you. So how
No,
do we?
I'll tell you what, the the brain or the mind is not designed for multitasking. No, it is. And on the long run, it actually destroys the mind. So I would suggest you do one task at a time. If you're going to, you're reading a book, please read that book instead of putting something in your ears and reading. Okay. Or you don't want distractions. There are some people who need a low intensity distractions. I've seen students in studying in universities sitting in the cafeteria and studying. The cafeteria is the place where you have a lot of noise, but that's a low intensity noise. It helps them. Actually, it actually brings more stress. I would advise you, and that's and all yogis advise, do one task at a time. When you are focused on one task, you can do it much better and you can do it faster. So you finish one, then go to the next and go to the next. You see, the nature of the mind is restlessness. What you need to do is to bring all that restless energy into a focus. You must not get destroyed by the restlessness. You have to use that restlessness in order to focus the mind itself. The mind has that energy. And let me make it very clear that the mind has got tremendous energy. You won't believe it. You will be amazed that there are so many things within you which were untapped. And these meditative processes are going to tap inside those kind of reservoirs of strength. So the external surface restlessness can be, as I was saying, quieted down through the deep breathing or through the mantra or through a visualization. And if your mind is extremely restless, just chant loudly Om, Om, Om. That itself is good enough. But like I said, do one task at a time. That multitasking is killing us.
Next question, last question. Please ask, okay.
Namaste, Maharaj. So just to clarify, you said we could do the breathing and the chanting of the mantras. So are we doing it simultaneously and pushing the mental screen away, or do you want us to do only one thing at a time?
Three separate practices.
Oh, three strategies, three separate
Later
strategies.
on in these classes, I will tell you how to harmonize your breath with your mantra. That'll come later. For now, these are three separate practices. The grossest is the breathing. The second, less gross, is the use of the mantra. And the third, which for people who are really very good at visualization and very strong, for them is that distancing oneself away from the mind. So these are three things. You can take any one of the three which you are comfortable with and do, or take two, or take all the three, one after another.
So when you talk about the visualization, is it okay for us to have like a mental image of something, like maybe like a rising sun or a flame or something, just to focus on one thing? Is that appropriate as well, or you?
Oh yeah. In fact, this will come in the later classes again. Next class, I'm going to give you the basics of how to repeat the mantra along with visualization.
Okay.
So you can, while breathing, or you can say while doing japa also, you can use a kind of a visual aid, a flame, or as I say, a
Okay. Thank you,
sun,
Maharaj.
moon. Okay. So next Wednesday, on the repetition of the mantra, the power of the mantra. Let's put it like that. Let's make it a little more attractive to you all. The power of the mantra. Okay.
There is a follow-up question.
Hmm.
Let me unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Pranam Maharaj, this is Mrinal. Thank you for such a nice session. So my question is follow up like whatever Bindu ma'am just said, and maybe you just mentioned whatever you're going to do. So we do those three things, 10 count, and then like how many times we can again do those three? Like, is there any?
See, this is for beginners. This is a beginner's course, and I want you to do it 10 times. Generally, they advise us 25 times. Okay. So you don't need to do 25 times, because that's going to put a strain on your lungs, which are not yet ready for this kind of this. So 10 or 12 times is good enough for breathing. So as you can say your body gets used to this infusion of breath, then you can increase it slowly, say by to 15 or 20 and then up to 25. But it has
Okay.
not to be violently done. It has to be done gently, okay?
Mm.
Otherwise, there are people who do things very violently. That's not the idea.
Yeah. So we do 10 times and then we just stop, and then we stop there and we don't do continue that.
For the children to start to meditate.
Oh, the children can meditate from 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, there's a. But the methods there for children will be different. And you can get in touch with us. Just ask them to do simple sitting down and breathing in and out and simple awareness. That's a perfect time for the mind to meditate, because the neurons are kind of laying down their structures, and once your neurons are fixed with that structure of meditation, there you are, you'll become a yogi.
So Maharaj, one quick.
You are inhaling through the nostrils first and exhaling through the mouth as well as the nostrils. The nostrils are open. See, the second is you inhale to the nostril and exhale also to the nostrils only. Yes. Keep them out. Okay. The mantra is the next, you can say, the next method. So don't harmonize that mantra with the breath right now. So that mantra will be just a repetition, semi-audible and inaudible. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. So see you again next Wednesday. The power of the mantra. And it's not necessary that you need a mantra. Any mantra you can take. And everyone is eligible to recite a mantra. Manana Trayati, that through which when one reflects, protects you. That's what it is, what it means, a mantra. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.